make that bitch stop.
Hi, what's up, fam? So this is Simply Anna, and on this channel, we're gonna just say we're gonna learn a lot about each other, and I'm here for the tutorials, you know, story times, prank, whatever you want, you got it. But mainly story times and hair tutorials because I am a hairstylist in Arizona, and I will be linking like my Instagram, my Snapchat, all my social medias down below so that way we can get familiar with each other. I also will have my business email in my little description box so y'all can send me things to review, any questions, you know, any type of story times that y'all would like me to tell, or you know, your story time that you would like me to tell. Yeah, and I'm here for like advice and all that. So that's a brief introduction. Story time, telling y'all how I went on a date with this crackhead. Well, don't mind how I look either, because I work in a salon. I've been in the salon like literally all week besides my actual day job, so I haven't had a chance to do my hair, which that's gonna be my next story time of me getting myself together. But right now, let's not do me, all right? Do you? But my friends at that time set me up with a crackhead. So y'all, when I moved to Arizona, I was like 20 years old. Yeah, I was 20 years old. I had just got out of like school. Well, I was still in my freshman year of school, and I don't know, I just wanted to move. I'm originally from Mississippi. But yeah, I'm originally from Mississippi. I moved to Arizona when I was 20 years old. So when I got here, everything was cool. I wasn't doing hair like at first. Like I was doing it to get myself out there, but once I got out there, like, you know, I just kept doing it. But at first, like, doing hair, I liked doing it, but I only used to do like my hair, my friends' hair and stuff like that. I never used to really take clients for it, if that made sense. Like if my friends paid me, they paid me. But when I got here, it's like my auntie was like, yeah girl, like you gonna you know, meet so many people, and you're gonna make so much money. So I started doing hair, and I ran across these people, right, that you know, I got really cool with them. They was like one of my first clients here. Like it's a lady, we're gonna call her, okay, wait, so it's a lady, and she has had a husband at that time, and they had like 6 kids, but she mostly had girls. So I used to just come over and do their hair or whatever, and we're gonna call them the Brady's. Like y'all know the Brady Bunch because they had all them kids. No offense if you watching this, but y'all definitely had a lot of kids. And the Brady's lived in Phoenix, which was, I lived in Maricopa, so they lived in Phoenix. I used to always go over there, do their hair with the whoop. They had this other roommate, her name, we're gonna call her Yellow, because she like a high yellow girl. And we just became really good friends, and she moved in. So we got invited to this person's kickback. So I went with them. Everything was cool. Okay. Me, the Brady's, and Yellow. Yeah. We're gonna call him Oscar Proud, cause he give me Oscar Proud vibes with glasses. Like if you can think of how somebody look, he look like Oscar Proud, just a little buffer and with glasses. But we're gonna call him Oscar Proud, Mr. Proud. So we went to Mr. Proud's house. At the time, like, he was explaining to me, like, it's his house, but he shared with his brother, which we're going to give him the name Mr. White because his teeth was white, and keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Mr. White and Oscar Proud, they was brothers, and they lived in the house together. And they had nice stuff in their house. Like, they had, like, you know, the virtual games that you could put on and, like, walk around, and it looks real. Like, they had one of those. They had like an Xbox, they had a pool table, their backyard was like full of stuff. Like they had an interesting house. Back was cool. Like we got there, they served us drinks, they had food for us. We played games, talked smack, like all of that. So the Brady's, they were hinting at stuff, but I guess I didn't notice because like I was feeling myself, and at this time I wasn't drinking like to get drunk. I was just drinking to feel like, cause they had wine. It wasn't like no hard liquor. They had like the Stella Rose wine in the case, and it was pretty good because they know that girls like Stella wine. And I never used to drink wine, so it was good to me. I was chilling. But me and Yellow, we was sitting by each other the whole time. Like I was sipping, she was sipping, and then she got a phone call, and I guess her dude was calling her and was like, "Where you at?" Blah blah blah. So she's getting her stuff to leave. So I'm stuck here with the Brady's, right? Y'all, the Brady's was drunk off they rocker. Like at that point, it was like they was drunk. They was drunk, so I was just like sitting there next to Mrs. Brady because she was like, you know, talking to me and stuff. And Oscar Brown walked past, and I think they had a thing going on or something like that. But I'm not for sure, but I believe so because they just kept making weird eye contact. And then I looked to my far, you know, I looked beside him, and I'm just like, why is Mr. White staring me down? Like, you're staring me down. In the midst of us like making eye contact, we're gonna call her Delight. Because when I think of her, I think of like something that looks good. And I don't know if it tastes too good, but she looks good. So she was a dark skinned and pretty. She was older, I could tell she was older, but she had like a body on her. And she told me she was a dancer, so that's probably why. But she had a nice body on her, and she had her son with her, so they was like walking past, going to the back, and that caught my attention. And then these two girly girl couples like walked past. We're gonna call them the double mint twins, cause they was just two big girls, and they was like all like, you know, they was together. They all walking past while like everybody mingling and stuff, and they introduced themselves and went on about their business. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, who does the girl that danced belong to? Because she's like really nice looking, and they all stay here, which they all was pretty. Like they all was pretty. They just, I was like, who, like, what's going on? Like maybe they just roommates or whatever. The White kept staring, so I asked my friend like, why does he keep looking at me? She was like, yeah, Mr. White wanna talk to you. He already told Mr. Brady, but he asked us to ask you to come over there. And I'm looking at him like, he's a grown man. He can come over here and talk for himself. I said it loud enough so he could hear me, and he did come over there and started, you know, chopping it up with me. We went outside after he got me like a cup of wine that I could have just got because it was sitting right in front of me. But I ain't saying nothing. I just let him do his thing. I got the wine. I walk outside with him, and like, I knew it was gonna be an epic fail when he just started like randomly. He didn't try to ask me no questions to get to know me. He just like got straight to it, like just talking about like his ex-wife. Yeah, his ex-wife. And they wasn't divorced that long. I believe it just happened within the week, to be honest. So he was just talking to me, and I could tell he was really sad because he was like, oh, like he was just showing me pictures of her, showing me her Facebook. Y'all, he was just telling me stories about how her son and him didn't get along, how all she liked to do is eat crab legs and order out, and she only used to cook like oxtails and stuff. And he was just like reminiscing about her to me. So I just, in my head, I already figured like, this ain't going nowhere. Like, I'll just let him vent because he might need it. So I just let him vent or whatever, and the Brady's was ready to go, so I was ready to go. But before I left, we exchanged numbers. He was other than him doing that, he was pretty cool. Like, he's a dark-skinned man. He was short. I think when I was 20, I was like 5'3" maybe. Yeah, I was 5'3" because I'm like 5'4" or 5'5" now. I'm a little taller, but back then I was like 5'3", so he had to be like 5'3", because it was like I just looked him straight in his face. Like, he wasn't tall, he was short, and he was dark skinned. He had really nice white teeth, like Mr. Clean smile. He smiled, it would be like ding. Like he was older. I think he was like 37, I want to say, and I was 20, which I know damn well I ain't had no business trying to even look that man direction. But he was a handsome man, so, and he had a nice house. You know, I was just like, oh, he got, but yeah. So the night went on. He was talking about his ex-wife the whole time. So it got time to go, and the Brady's took me home, and me and Mr. White, we was texting a lot. Like, we was texting back and forth, and he was just always like calling me pretty and was like, I can't wait to see you again, and could I take you on a date? So about after a week of him like texting me, asking me to take me on a date, I finally was like, okay, you could take me on a date, because at this moment I just want to be taken on a date. I was single, living with Yellow, like we was just doing stuff to be doing stuff, to be honest. I was having a little fun. I let him take me on a date. I was like, we could go to the Cheesecake Factory, because I don't know, I never been to the Cheesecake Factory out here. And when I did go, it's like, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap. Like, it's affordable. And I didn't know his pocket. Yeah, I never been to the Cheesecake Factory, so we could go to the Cheesecake Factory. And we went. I ordered a lot of stuff, because that's just what I like to. I like to try everything on the menu. Even when I buy my own food, I buy like at least 3 to 4 things. They pick me up. Okay, this is where the shit starts to get like, yeah, you a crackhead. Okay, he came to pick me up, and I told him like I never invited dudes in my house. Like, if you're gonna take me on a date, you can wait outside. Like, you ain't coming in my house. Y'all, when I tell y'all, he did text me when he was outside, and I told him where to park and everything, and I was just like, wait right there, because I wasn't finished getting ready within like the next 10 to 15 minutes, because I think I was just getting out the shower when he pulled up. Like, it seemed like he was eager to come and get me, because like as soon as I agreed to go on a date with him, it's like I told him where, and then I started getting ready, and then next thing I know, he already outside before I'm even done getting ready good. And he, remind y'all, he lived a good minute from me at this time. So at least like 35, 45 minutes. So that was kind of weird to me. But at that time, I didn't think about stuff like that. Like, I just was like, why is he so eager? Like, I kept telling Yellow, like, why is he so eager and stuff? And she made me share my location with her and everything. And she, like, we used to do that with each other, like, take pictures of the man's license plate just in case anything happens. Like, she'll walk me to the car, or I'll walk her to the car. And when they drive away, I'll take a picture of their license plate. And we share locations with each other. And we made sure to like keep in contact with each other throughout the night, because you never know. People in Arizona is crazy as hell. So I always knew where she was at all times. She always knew where I was at all times. So he's waiting outside. So I get ready, and why when I'm leaving out my door, it's like he knew where I stayed, y'all. Because I lived in apartments at this time. And I lived on the 2nd floor, and like I never really gave him my address. I just gave him like where to pull up at, but I never gave him like my apartment number or anything. He was like literally on the walkway. He wasn't like directly in front of my apartment, but he was by my apartment when I stepped outside. So it's like you came up the stairs, knew exactly where to go, and he was outside talking to my creepy ass neighbors. So I was just like, oh, like it was just red flags, red flag. But like I said, I was younger then, and I was just trying to, have fun. I'm thinking it's cute. Like, I'm thinking I'm breaking the nigga pockets for them taking me to the Cheesecake Factory, like, dumb stuff. So I linked up with him, and I'm like, how you know where I stayed exactly? He was like, I really was just walking around. I was going to try to spot you so I can walk with you, because it's, like, dark, and it's, like, people out here. But I wasn't going to come in your house or nothing. I was just trying to, like, catch up, just so when you was ready, I could just be right here. I'm like, okay. So as we're walking back to his car, for one, y'all, I never knew which car was his that night when I first met him. Because when we pulled up, it was a lot of nice cars in the yard, then it was like a bucket in the yard. So I'm thinking it was somebody else's car, because it wasn't there at first. But when it was time for us to leave, I noticed like it was there, so I didn't think it was his. I really thought it was like one of the girls that came in the house last car. But he pulled up on me in that car. So I instantly noticed that when we hit the stairs. He had asked me like a weird question. He was like, what all you like to do? Are you a party girl? And I'm like, no, I don't party. The most I do is drink a little bit. I didn't really have the lungs to be smoking at that time. But I was like, I smoke a little bit, but that's as much as I do, because I don't do drugs. Like, I don't do pills. I don't do none of that weird psychedelic stuff. Like, no, I can barely even smoke. So drinking is really my cup of tea. But, you do you. Like, because he kept saying it, like, are you a party girl? Are you a party girl? I'm like, no, I don't party like that. My friends was walking past. Like, you live in a complex, you just become cool with certain people. and they was walking past and they was speaking to me, and they're guys and stuff, and he like spoke to them too, and they was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm on a date with Mr. White. He finna take me to the Cheesecake Factory." Now they was the typical D boys of the apartment complex, so that's where I normally used to get my smoke from. I was just like, "Yeah, I'll hit you when I get back." 'Cause he had mentioned something about the new strain he had got, and he was like, he just was trying to see did I want any. And I was like, "No, I'm good right now, because I don't like to be under the influence around people I don't know." Which Mr. White butted in and was like, "Hey man, you got Bobby." Bobby. I'm confused. Like, I'm like, who is Bobby? Why he got Bobby? So my friends looking at me like, they laughing. Like, they look real loud in my face laughing, because they like, "Nah, we don't do none of that. I could get you somebody though." So I'm like, did he just ask y'all, did y'all sell crack? Like, yeah, that's what that mean. Like, he wants he want to play with his nose. This has got to be a joke. Like, right now, right? Where you think you was finna go with some crack? So, so I'm like, "Nah, you need to get in the car. Let's go." So, y'all, not only did I don't know why I didn't turn around and just go back in my house or walk back with Yellow. Because she was there. She's just looking at me like we both giving each other that look like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, did he really? But I still went or whatever, and she still took a picture of his license plate. She had my location and everything. So we went to the Cheesecake Factory. The whole ride there was silence, because I was still in shock that he asked somebody for crack. We did make small talk, like, "Where you from?" and stuff like that. Because the first time we talked, he really didn't get to know me. Like, he really just started blabbing off about his ex-wife, trying to get to know each other. Like, "Where you from? What kind of music you like?" Like, I was so uncomfortable, but I was just like, okay, maybe he'll straighten up. Like, maybe he was just joking. So we get to the Cheesecake Factory. I order all the food I want, and he got like little things like a man does that's broke. He maybe ordered the whole menu, and he just got like a little side salad, and that was it, and some water. But I'm over here with all type of shit, because I guess if you want to eat, not eat, that's you, but it's plenty enough to go around the table. So we talking, and he's just telling me all these crazy stories about him and his ex-wife again. So I'm just sitting there at this point, just getting all my food, like packing it all up, and I'm like, "Let's go, you can take me home." But he was like, "No, I wanted to show you something." And then we went to the karaoke bar, but we never ended up doing karaoke, because as soon as we got in the door, I believe he was like drunk, or yeah, he was drunk, and he like wasted a whole bunch of beer on his clothes, so we had to leave. So we ended up at his house, which was like down the street from the place or whatever. He goes in his room, and I'm sitting in the living room, watching TV. And here comes the light. Like, she comes and sits next to me, and she's like, "Do you like Mr. White? Like, you really like him?" And I'm looking at her like, "No, I really don't. Like, I don't know him. Like, I'm just here because he had to change his clothes. That's it." So she like kind of laughs like, "You for real? You're for real?" I'm dead serious. Like, I don't think I like him. He took me on a date. She ended up was like, me and him fool around, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, so you telling me this because y'all want to have a threesome with me? I done been in, like, people out in Arizona, it ain't no shame in their game. Like, they'll send their girlfriend to come at you. They'll send the man to come at you, or they'll both come at you. But either way, if they want you to be a part of their little trio, they ain't afraid to come and get it. Because that was the first time that, like, somebody tried to set me up in that manner. She was like, me and him sleep around, right? So I'm like, no, I didn't know that. So, I mean, if you, like, feeling the way because he took me on a date, like, I'm finna go home anyway, so I'm not worried. She was like, no, I don't feel a way about it because, I live here, so I'm not mad. He done already talked my head off about his ex-wife. He done got drunk at the bar and waste beer on his clothes. He done been asking for crack. And now I'm finding out that you slept with your roommate, who is also a stripper and a single parent that live in your home. I'm just like, how worse could get. Like, at this point, I'm entertained. I gotta have more. So it took him a long time to come out the back. Like, I'm thinking he's just gonna go change his clothes and we're gonna roll. But he ended up texting me and was like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, we just came from eating. Like, I got a whole, like, refrigerator full of food in your car, right? We just ate. And so he ordered wings for me and they came, but that took like 30 minutes and he was still in the back. I finally got up and went to the back and like went in his room. Like, I knocked before I entered, but I went in his room and was like, hey, you good? And he was in the bathroom like taking a shit. So I like walked like close to the bathroom, but I didn't walk in the bathroom. But I walked kind of close to the bathroom because I was like, oh, what if he's sick? Like, because he was in there for a long time and he wasn't like making no noise. He wasn't talking. He was just quiet. And so while I peeked my head around the corner and this man is like butt booty naked. So I was just instantly like, I look like this. Instantly like, because I was like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Are you okay? So he's like, yeah, I think I ate something bad and I had the runs. And it's like, keep coming out. I look on the dresser and I see like white stuff like spattered. I'm like, you good? He was like, yeah. And he kept sniffling, like, you know how they do. Like, they be like that, like sniffling and shit, playing with their nose, like shit like that. So he was doing all of that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's definitely time to go. So I was about to request my lift. But he ended up coming out the bathroom, and y'all, he didn't wipe his butt. He didn't wash his hands. He didn't even have clothes on. So he just walked out the bathroom naked. And like, his shirt was halfway on because I believe he got hot and just was stripping, but he got tired when he got to this part, so the shirt just hanging off of him. And he was like, are you okay? Like, did you need anything? I was like, yeah, I'm just about to go home, you know, because I ain't feeling this. And he was just so comfortable, like naked, just standing there, like in front of me talking to me. And I just like was looking around like, cause I ain't gonna lie, he didn't have a bad body. Like, his teeth were white and the size fit, but you're a crackhead at the end of the day. And you sleeping with this girl, like, it was just all too much to be true. So I ended up requesting my lift because I didn't want to get back in his bucket. I didn't want to be seen with him again. So I literally booked it out that place. So I get home and he texts me like, did you make it home? And I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, do you know old boy's number that I asked for, you know, the crack? So I blocked him, didn't talk to him again. I never even took my food home and I was so mad. It was just not giving. I just couldn't believe that my friends let me go on a date with a crackhead. Literally. The man was on crack. I done seen you butt booty naked. I done found out about all your ex-bitches. You even lived with one of them. It was just a lot. A whole lot. But that's it for my first story time. Comment, like, subscribe, follow all my pages, and tell me what y'all want to hear. Just know.
You know what really make me smile? When a bitch mad. I be up all night, so these bitches can't sleep on me. Ain't no bitch alive that could make my man cheat on me.